Ever heard of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse? No, they're not the latest rock band in town. They are, in fact, symbolic figures etched in the pages of the Bible's Book of Revelation. Each of these horsemen represents a catastrophic event that, according to biblical prophecies, will occur at the end of times. Our first horseman is often associated with conquest, riding on a white horse symbolizing victory and domination. The second, riding a fiery red horse, is the embodiment of war, representing conflict and bloodshed. The third horseman, astride a black horse, symbolizes famine, indicating scarcity and hunger. Lastly, the fourth and final horseman is a symbol of death, riding a pale horse and followed by Hades. These figures carry with them a sense of dread and fascination, stirring up images of doom, yet also sparking curiosity. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Stick around as we delve deeper into who these horsemen are and what they represent. First up, we have the rider on the white horse, symbolizing conquest. Now, let's break this down a bit. The white horse is often associated with purity, righteousness, victory. It's a symbol that's been used throughout history and in numerous cultures to denote a triumphant force. So it's no surprise that our first horseman rides atop such a creature. But it's not just about the horse. The rider is a figure of notoriety too. He carries a bow, a weapon that's both elegant and deadly, capable of striking from a distance. It's a tool of power, a tool of war, but also a sign of authority and dominion. It's almost as if he's poised for battle, ready to conquer and claim victory. And then there's the crown. A crown is pretty standard symbolism, right? It's a sign of royalty, of leadership, of power. Our rider is given a crown, an indication that he's not just a warrior, but a ruler. He's not just fighting a battle, he's leading a conquest. But who exactly is this figure? Well, interpretations vary. Some view this rider as Christ, the divine conqueror, bringing victory over sin and death. They see the white horse, the bow, and the crown as symbols of Christ's righteous rule. Others, however, interpret this rider as the Antichrist, a figure of deception and false peace. They argue that the image of conquest is a facade, a mask hiding the true nature of this figure's intent. Whether viewed as divine or demonic, one thing is clear: this figure, this first horseman, represents conquest. And it's this conquest, this drive for victory and domination, that sets the stage for what's to come. So conquest, whether divine or demonic, starts the ball rolling. But what comes next? Enter the second rider on a fiery red horse, symbolizing war. This vivid image is one of the most recognized symbols of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The red horse, vibrant and menacing, is a potent image of bloodshed, reflecting the brutal nature of war. As we delve deeper into this symbolic representation, we find the rider of the red horse is no ordinary soldier. He is a force of conflict, strife, and division, wielding a large sword. This isn't just any sword, mind you. The size of the sword is a metaphor for the massive scale of the wars and conflicts that have plagued humanity throughout history. It's a poignant reminder of the magnitude of destruction that war brings. This rider doesn't merely symbolize war as we know it, he represents the conflict that follows conquest. It's an unsettling reality that after one power achieves dominance, it often leads to a period of infighting, civil unrest, and ultimately, war. It's a cyclical process, a grim dance of power and control that we've seen play out time and time again, from ancient empires to modern nations. The red horse and its rider are a stark reminder of the cost of these conflicts. The bloodshed, the loss of life, the societal upheaval, all these consequences are embodied in this potent symbol. However, the rider on the red horse is not simply a harbinger of doom. He also serves as a cautionary figure, a grim reminder of the aftermath of unchecked ambition and conquest. He challenges us to consider the potential consequences of our actions, to strive for peace and unity rather than division and war. War follows conquest, a grim reality of our world. But what's the aftermath of this war? As we move forward, we'll explore the next horseman, who will show us the devastating after effects of war. Stay tuned as the narrative of the Four Horsemen continues to unfold. The third rider arrives on a black horse representing famine. A chilling sight indeed, for this figure brings with him a cruel aftermath of war. The black horse, a symbol of death and despair, carries a rider with a pair of scales in his hand, painting a grim picture of scarcity and economic downfall. The scales, a tool of measurement, signifies the delicate balance of life, now tipped over by the ravages of war. The scales also symbolize the rationing of food and resources, a common occurrence during times of famine. Picture this: A loaf of bread, once plentiful and available, now weighed and rationed, a luxury few can afford. The rider on the black horse is a stark reminder of how conflict can lead to scarcity. War not only destroys lives and infrastructure, but it also disrupts agriculture and trade, leading to shortages and skyrocketing prices. It's a domino effect, where the chaos of war leads to famine, and famine, in turn, leads to further suffering and death. This figure represents the economic downfall that follows war. The riches and prosperity of nations, once a symbol of their strength, can be reduced to nothing in the blink of an eye. The black horse and its rider show us how fragile our economies can be, how easily abundance can turn into scarcity, and how prosperity can change into poverty. The third horseman, famine, is a wake-up call. He forces us to confront the harsh realities of war and its consequences. He shows us the fragility of life and the importance of peace. With his arrival, we are reminded of the preciousness of resources, the value of life, and the destructive power of conflict. Famine, the cruel aftermath of war, yet there's one more rider to come, the grimmest of them all. So as we brace ourselves for the arrival of the final horseman, let's take a moment to ponder on the lessons imparted by the third. What can we learn from famine? How can we prevent the black horse from riding again? Remember, the future is not set in stone, and it is up to us to shape it. Finally, the fourth rider on a pale horse embodies death. This spectral figure on his ghostly steed is a chilling representation of the ultimate end we all face: mortality. The horse's pale hue is emblematic of the pallor of death, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the inevitability of our mortal coil's end. Accompanying this grim horseman, hell follows in his wake, a stark symbol of the torment and suffering that often accompanies death. This is particularly pronounced in the context of the preceding horsemen, where death is the final act following the devastation of conquest, war, and famine. The figure of death on his pale horse is a potent symbol of the cyclical nature of life and death, underscoring the inevitable conclusion of the human journey. It serves as a stark reminder of our mortality, that after the trials and tribulations of life, death is the ultimate equalizer, the final act in the drama of existence. Death, the final act in this apocalyptic drama. But what does it all mean? The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, a chilling tale of humanity's end, but what's the takeaway? As we delve into the interpretations of this ominous quartet, we find a myriad of understandings. Some see them as literal harbingers of the world's end, heralding a divine reckoning. Others perceive them as symbolic figures embodying the destructive tendencies of mankind. A popular interpretation positions the Four Horsemen as metaphorical lessons: conquest, war, famine, and death. They remind us of the dire consequences of human actions. They symbolize the destructive cycle humanity embarks upon, a conquest leading to war, causing famine and eventually death. In essence, the Four Horsemen serve as a mirror, reflecting our actions back to us. They are not just figures of an end-time prophecy, but symbols of the cyclical nature of human history. They call for introspection, for change, and for breaking the cycle of self-destruction. The Four Horsemen, a stark reminder of the cyclical nature of human history and a call to change our ways. So, there you have it. The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, a fascinating blend of prophecy, symbolism, and allegory. Throughout this journey, we've delved deep into the identities of conquest, war, famine, and death. The harbingers of the end times. We've dissected their roles, their symbols, and their significance, painting a vivid picture of these biblical figures. Remember, these horsemen are more than just characters in a story. They represent deeper truths about the human condition and the challenges we face in our world. Understanding their symbolism can give us a unique perspective on life, morality, and our place in the universe. But our exploration doesn't have to end here. There's always more to learn, more to uncover. So let's continue this conversation. What points relevant to you have we failed to mention? Please comment below. We reply to all comments.